Hey Shoujo fans, welcome to episode 8 of Shoujo Sundae. This week we'll be discussing episodes 22 to 24 of Maid Sama. Let's dig in.
私の心があらモードベイビー I make you more than happy けどゆっくりしよね Brain freeze ご注意できるかな Handle me 高すぎカロリー Sugar 以上甘い Feeling with you next to me baby おかわりね
So, where we left off. In the last episode, Misaki tasked the athletes of Seika High to clean up the school, and with the help of Yukimura, the student council in turn had to make onigiri for everyone. During this time, Kano breaks the fourth wall by confronting Misaki and Usui about their feelings for each other, to which both continue to beat around the bush. Food-obsessed personality Shitani Hinata debuts at Seika High and vows to meet his first love while there, only to realize that it's Misaki, and everyone is shocked. Okay, so now getting into episode 22. Here is our soft serve summary. It's field trip time. Class 2 goes on a 5-day journey to a Buddhist temple in the forest. Sounds interesting, except everyone is grilling an unwilling Misaki about her non-relationship with Hinata. Hinata and Usui square off against each other for Misaki's affection, despite her not liking Hinata in that way. Unfortunately, Hinata and Misaki get locked in a storeroom together, and he attempts to get Misaki to see him as a man. But fortunately for Misaki, Usui saves the day, and Misaki is later stuck trying to protect Seika girls from the lustful thoughts and actions of Seika boys who are hungry and not quite meshing with this Buddha temple trip. Usui is able to confront Misaki about her feelings towards Hinata at the very end of the episode, and he is a bit faint because he also didn't eat the group barbecue while he was confronting her. So that's our summary. Giana, do you have a theme?
Okay. I don't have a serious theme, but I have a theme.
Theme.
I wrote, even a spiritual retreat won't cure you from being a jerk and a creep.
Spot on, yes.
Thanks. These boys.
I had clarification is key.
Oh, see, that's so much better.
Just to the point, but what you said is also true, so yeah. As for sprinkle on top, I don't have any for this episode. Do you have any?
Absolutely not.
Okay, guys, maybe we'll get some sprinkles later. We'll see.
We'll see.
So for Floats Your Boat, I loved how at the start of the episode, we see exposition from our favorite three idiots just waxing on about this great field trip. And then suddenly they're just devastated because what they thought was going to happen and what ended up happening were two different things.
Yeah, I will say just their excitement from the very top. The episode opens and they're just already celebrating the field trip under false pretenses. But just their excitement was so adorable and kind of had me just smiling right out the bat.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, something else that and maybe that's the sadistic side in me, but I liked the fact that the seniors lied.
Oh no!
Not that I liked it, but it was like, I got it, you know, because it's a practical joke. Although I feel like, honestly, it would have been best if everyone just knew from the gate what was happening so that they could better prepare.
Yeah, honestly though, telling the freshmen that there's a 4th floor pool is harmless, but I feel like having them look forward to this and then having it be as brutal of a trip as it was is a little less harmless. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have been entirely okay with it if they just told them to pack food. If they said, it's so great, bring extra food, I think I would be more okay with it. But I understood the joke to a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have Floats Your Boat?
I'll be honest, I only have 2 Floats Your Boat. So I thought it was really nice, of course, like, given that Misaki is amazing and she's a great human being, that how she's able to get the girls working efficiently because of her serving experience. It was nice that she was just able to make things move as smoothly as possible, even if the trip wasn't what they expected.
Yeah, that's something that I really liked, was just how Misaki was able to manage that, but also how well, like, the girls worked together to, like, get these things done.
Yeah.
It's good to see them bonding in that way.
Right. I feel like we've been so hyper-focused on Misaki's relationship with Usui and then how the other boys relate to her, and we haven't seen so much of her relationship with her girlfriends or the other girls in her class in a long time. And especially, like, the other girls in her class. Yeah. Her focus at the beginning was so much about taking care of them, but we really don't see her interact with anybody besides Shizuku and Sakura.
Yeah, I think that that's, like, a choice of the anime, if I'm being honest. From what I remember, I feel like there were more interactions between Misaki and the girls in the manga. And also, listeners, don't get on me about how I pronounce manga. I know that people say manga. I've been saying manga this whole time. I'm going to continue to say manga. So.
Speak your truth.
Right. But it's like, regardless, I think she had more interactions with the girls in the manga than in the anime.
Okay.
And then also within this anime, there's such a heavy focus on her relationship with the boys. So I feel that that was a choice, but it's good to just see her with them and to see her actually being happy and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny how Hinata, like, acknowledged how hot Usui is.
He just walks right up to him. He's like, "You're the coolest guy I've ever seen." That's valid.
Yes, and just touching his chest. Now, I don't know if he had to touch his chest, but I understood that he didn't have to do it. Listen, guys, I don't mean to be, like, so middle ground and weird, because consent is best. People shouldn't just touch people.
At the same time, though, it's kind of like, it's Usui.
Yeah.
You know?
It's Usui.
Yeah. I mean, not that he, you know, it just seems like he doesn't care. He never gave off the impression that he cares. I mean,
if people touch him. And
yeah, because he invades other people's space. I'm thinking immediately of our dear cinnamon roll.
Yeah, Yukimura.
Yeah. I mean, even Yukimura, like, comes out in that scene by the waterfall and he's like, "Well, you don't know who you're messing with here." It's kind of very sad. That might be part of my ice cream. I'm going to stop.
Yeah, but I think that just him acknowledging his hotness, I feel like that's, like, valid. And you know what? I also feel that when it comes to Hinata, until, like, later on in the episode, I don't think that Hinata acknowledged Usui as, like, an actual rival. I just think he saw him as, like, a fellow classmate and possible friend. So I feel like that also adds to him feeling comfortable enough to touch him and to just be like, yeah, you're, like, hot, like, you're amazing.
Yeah, no, I could for sure see that.
Yeah, and then also I thought it was funny the way that Usui opened the storeroom door when Misaki and Hinata were, like, locked in there.
Yeah, I did like to see the old, "oh no, they're locked in somewhere, what are they gonna do?" kind of storyline trope come in. I liked that was happening, even if it was Hinata and not Usui. But it was really, I also appreciated just, it's like the second they almost connected in, like, a real, like, mature kind of way, Usui's like, "Nope, here's this door opening." I liked that.
Yeah, the comedic timing. He's just like, "No, not on my watch."
Yeah, it's almost like he was listening and waiting for the perfect time to open the door. Like, I'm sure he was there with, like, an ear up to it.
Yeah. The last floats your boat that I had, the enlightenment scene, is my last one.
I should have written that down. That was a great moment.
It was hilarious because, like, Misaki, she was tired of Hinata and Uzui fighting. So she kicks them out. They're getting eaten up by mosquitoes. And then she turns around and then all of a sudden it seemed like all of the boys found healing and enlightenment and were just like, "Oh, I understand everything now." And, like, it's just hilarious.
Sitting under the waterfall and spending a few days at the temple just granted them full enlightenment status.
It was just funny. And especially that the three idiots were, like, sort of leading the charge in that too.
Yeah, that makes it even better. Because they were already soft boys to begin with. And then it just, like, heightens that.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of weird that that was such a, I don't want to say it was a big moment. It was a moment and then immediately 180s the next day. Very weird.
It was just gone.
So it felt like it made no sense to even be there, except that it was good at the time. It just didn't mean anything to the rest of the episode. But I digress. We're still in Floats Your Boat.
Right. So that was the last of my Floats Your Boat. What was your last one?
So it's really funny. It doesn't actually have anything to do with the actual episode, but the transition cards in this episode, and I think the next couple we were watching, are fantastic. First it's Misaki, and then it's Usui riding in on a cloud pulled by 3 cherub idiots.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. That was so funny. Just a good way to break it up and just keep the humor there.
Yeah, it's so cute. I like that they changed it too.
Yeah.
Did you have any banana split?
Yeah, I have 2 banana splits.
Same. Sort of.
So I think it's really cute that Sakura wants to know about Misaki's love life. I feel like, you know, when everybody gets together and they want to gossip and it's like really cute, but it kind of got to be a bit much when all of the girls wanted to hear about Misaki's love life.
Yeah. I think that that's just something that you share personally, you know? And while it's good to see Misaki being able to bond with all of the girls, because the way the anime is set up, it's jarring to just see all of a sudden all these girls want to like know about her love life and they haven't even been talking to her most of the series.
Yeah.
So it's like a little invasive.
Yeah, it feels a lot more invasive than it does like wanting your friend to open up because you're here for her kind of thing. It just felt like besides Shizuku and Sakura, everybody was there just to like get the scoop.
Yeah, and to like gossip.
Yeah.
It's sort of a banana split, but I think it's just more of like a cultural like thing. So like in the US, there's a separation of church and state, right? So the reason why I put that is because they went to a Buddhist temple, which I'm not saying that that's bad or weird or anything. I think that like when I saw it, it just made me sort of think of like my upbringing because I grew up, like I went through public school, and because I went through public school, not that people couldn't talk about religion, but I don't think that people would have been necessarily allowed. Well, not allowed. Like, I think we could have visited a church, but I feel like that sort of thing, like, would require parents signing off on it. So the fact that class 2 went to the Buddhist temple, and then on top of it, they were sort of tricked into it, I didn't really know how to feel about it. So that's why I put it in banana split.
Yeah, for me, I put it more in my ice cream, you scream. I don't mind elaborating on it now because it's not like a huge point. I mean, the trip sounds awful, frankly. I mean, like, it's cool if, like, they signed up for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they were kind of lied to by the upperclassmen and not really told what the trip entails. Like, I feel like the Seika High School kids need a break, like an actual break, because they're constantly doing the faculty's job.
Yeah.
They're always cleaning up something, or like, there's always something huge going on. It feels like there's never a normal day at school for them. They even have to, like, cook all of their meals, and it's not enough to satisfy them after working all day. Like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
So I wish that they had gotten, like, a real trip to a hot spring.
Yeah, and I agree with you because I feel that all of the students end up doing so much for that school that for them to go on a trip like this, and this is just outside of like, you know, me talking about the separation of religion and state and stuff like that. The fact that they ended up going on this trip and, you know, it's not up to the upperclassmen. Like, yes, the upperclassmen can lie, but it's not up to the upperclassmen to tell these students where they're going. Like,
yeah,
the faculty should be telling them, like, where they're going. Something that was also part of my ice cream, you scream in regard to this is the fact that they went hungry. The way that the school is set up, they already do so much for it. So for them to take them on this trip and essentially like be punishing them in the way that this trip was and having them do all of these chores, and they didn't expect that at all. And then on top of it, they tried to enforce, I guess, temple guidelines when it came to like the food. I thought that that was just entirely like too much, and they should have been informed so that they could bring their own food, because I don't like the idea of minors going hungry.
Oh, me neither.
For something that they didn't even know about, you know.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, that was more of a hot fudge thing. So what is your second banana split?
So Towards the end of the episode, Usui gets accusatory with Misaki, asking her if Hinata is a special person to her.
Yeah.
And he's saying that she's always looking at him and stuff like that. And at first I was like bothered by his tone and him like accusing her. And like I still don't know that I like condone it.
Yeah.
But I do understand his frustration by this point. Like, she just keeps pushing him away. And I'd understand if he's feeling insecure when someone comes around that she's known from her childhood and outright confessed his love to her in front of, like, everybody. So I understand where he's coming from if he's frustrated and insecure at this point.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. The way that I see it, because at first it, like, irritated me that he was asking her about it, right? But then...
Yeah, same.
I think it's because Usui has done so much to help with Misaki's character development in relation to men. So for her to end up taking to a man so easily and to be checking on him. Now, I mean, her checking on him is just purely because she didn't want him to get into trouble.
Yeah.
But the ease of that relationship in comparison to everything that Usui has done to even get to where he is in his relationship with her, I sort of understand why he felt the need to ask her. I think anybody would feel insecure if they did that much work to even get her to deal with men in general. And then here's this other person that's sort of benefiting off of all the work that you did. And on top of that, they have their own personal like relationship that you know nothing about because you weren't around at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Hot Fudge, we already sort of talked about it within Banana Split about, you know, teachers' responsibility and them telling the students where they're going. I think the reason why I even put it in Hot Fudge was because at that point, they had done the whole Buddhist thing. They go over to this camp and the boys, they snap and they're suddenly lustful beings.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how the teacher, they make a barricade every year because it happens every year. And Misaki's talking about how she has, the student council have to do everything that they can to support the teachers. And I just, what the fuck? First of all, if there is a problem, if all of those boys become that unhinged after 4 days, and now I'm not saying that what they went through wasn't bad, it was bad, but to suddenly be like, they want to be around girls, they're filled with lust and all of this stuff, and they can't handle themselves, and the teachers expect the council to help them in handling that, and Misaki's a girl herself. I thought that was entirely too much. And I feel like that is a behavioral problem. Like, I know it's supposed to be a joke, but
It's not a funny joke.
It's not a funny joke. It's like, under no circumstances should a man just decide, I'm going to lose all reason and just attack women. Because essentially that's what it is. And for me, like, when they were having those types of thoughts, I was just like, where are they going with this? Because it's not just, oh, you want to talk to them and they look good in their outfits. As a woman, I was thinking of like worst case scenarios because usually that's how it is for us anyway. You know, in the way that we live, how we have to manage our lives and our safety in a sense when dealing with men day to day. Like, so there's catcalling, you know, you can say no, but can you truly shut it down because you don't really know what a man's going to do? Walking to your car at night and stuff, how scary that is, and you have to hold your keys. I feel like there are so many circumstances where women have to be aware of the fact that they're women and aware of their safety and how they can protect themselves in situations like this. And so for them to, or at least the writers, to make a joke out of it, I did not like that. And I thought it was disgusting, actually.
Yeah, and there are teachers in this episode. They come on the screen so briefly while this is happening. And the boys are like rushing over to the girls' side because they couldn't make the barricade because it was raining, God forbid. So the boys are just rushing over to the girls' side. And all the male faculty is doing is, get a hold of yourselves. Stop. Turn around. Like, they aren't doing anything to prevent this from happening.
Yeah.
This episode did absolutely nothing for me. Now that we're, like, getting into the hot fudge and the ice cream, it was boring. Nothing good happened.
Right.
I just was waiting, essentially, for it to
be done.
To move on to the next episode, yeah.
Yeah.
And if they put up a barricade, they're treating the symptom and not the cause. Like, they know this happens every year. Why do they continue to do this and subject the women to this?
Right. And that's what I was thinking too. Like, it's like, okay, if they're that hungry and like hunger offsets potential like assault, then maybe you should bring food.
Right.
Or maybe you should tell people the trip that they're going on and they can opt in or opt out if they want to go. And then the people that are going, that's what they signed up for.
Exactly.
And so they're less likely to be like, I am so exhausted by this. I'm just going to try to attack girls now, because they already had an idea of what was going to happen. And it's just like crazy. And then especially when there's the scene, and like this is the last of my hot fudge ice cream you cream, because I feel like we really touched on everything. But the fact that all of those boys like surrounded Misaki in that way, and then she had to tell Hinata to clue in to be like, do you think these boys are just coming over to play cards? And then he got it, and then they had to start fighting them.
It turned into a shonen for 2 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it did turn into a shonen for 2 seconds, and it was nice that Usui came in and was, like, helping to, like, get these boys, like, in line. But I, like, legitimately was just like, how do you even... I would just go back to hating men again.
Right.
Like, that's like, oh, they're like holding your arms. Like, I just thought of all these different possibilities. It's crazy. Like, I can't fathom the idea that it only takes a little bit of rough circumstances for these men to become unhinged. And then it's just like, oh, well, you know, next time build a better barricade. And that's like what was going through my mind, especially when during that part when they're all fighting. And then the one guy like grabs Misaki's arms. And I was just like, this is going down a road I don't like. So
yeah.
So then that was the last part of like my hot fudge ice cream you scream. Do you have other ice cream you scream or hot fudge points?
I do still have my 2 hot fudge points, and then I have 1 ice cream you scream that we didn't touch on.
Okay.
I'll do the hot fudge first, which, I mean, like, we kind of already talked about this. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but the way I wrote it was the I suffered, so you should suffer too mentality is so tired, both in fiction and in real life. I'm not gonna get into the, you know, student loans, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But just the way the older students wanted to lie to the younger students because of they were disappointed by the field trip, so they think that the younger students should have to go through it too. It's just so tired to me.
I think they could have told the girls. I agree with you in the ice cream you scream. They should have told the girls. Like, okay, the guys, whatever. But the girls, they needed that safety. They needed that security. So even if you're making a practical like joke, or even if it's not those upperclassmen, where are the female upperclassmen to just be like, listen, this is some scary shit. This is what you need, or whatever.
After the guy's behavior, I feel less sympathy for them for sure. The girls definitely should have been warned.
Yeah.
For sure, without question, should have been warned.
Yeah.
So I think this is the hottest of fudge, and I'm almost wondering if I will be brave enough to keep it in. I mean, I guess it would be more controversial if I said I preferred the dub, but I'd prefer the sub. I so strongly prefer the sub, and I don't want to say, like zero hate to the English voice actors. I just think maybe, like, voice matching to, you know, the tone of voice from the original could have been better, but I will say that David Matranga, I think his name is, makes a great Usui. He did a really, really good job.
I don't like Hinata's voice actor, the dub actor. I'm sorry, I don't like it.
Giving him a southern accent just because he lived on a farm for a few years is such a weird and specific choice. I don't think it suits the way the character looks at all.
And there's also like different variations of like southern accents, and I just don't even feel like that particular one that he chose would be the best one.
No, it sounded like someone trying to do a southern accent that couldn't quite do a southern.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I don't want to say mean things, but I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either. I think the reason why I even like the dub, because we had to watch dub for like 2 episodes because the subbed episodes weren't there in the playlist that we were using.
Oh, I should have said that. I'm sorry. Yeah, we had to.
It's okay.
It was through necessity, not choice.
Yeah, so we had to watch 22 and 23 in dub. But I feel like the reason why I even liked the dub is just because it made it easier on me when I was writing notes.
Yeah, it did.
And I also think that Monica Rial, she is the voice actress for Misaki. It's beautiful. Chef's kiss.
I feel like I was so stuck by hearing Monica in her other characters that are kind of maybe a little bit more cartoonish, that it was harder for me to, I don't know, kind of separate I can't think of the right way to phrase this.
Like, separate, like, her past characters from her being Misaki in the moment.
Right. Like, I mean, she was Renge in Ouran High School Host Club, Tsubaki in Soul Eater, and Mei, especially, like, Mei in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like, really is, like, one of them I really remember her as.
Okay.
So I feel like I was, like, so stuck on all of that, and, like, Mei is a little girl, so it's like, it was hard for me to kind of wrap my head around her as Misaki, but she did do a great job.
Yeah, you know, I have been strictly sub for so long that I can probably count on one hand the amount of anime I've watched that's been dubbed.
Yeah.
Including movies. So I'm not used to her other roles. So I think that that's also why it probably worked for me, just because it's like I didn't watch Brotherhood in dub.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's, like, really cool to get a fresh perspective, though, that way, between us.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, though, I want to go back and watch episodes with Aoi in it as the dub, because Lucy Christian plays them, and she's, like, my favorite. She's one of my absolute favorite dub actors. Like, her and J. Michael Tatum are, like, tied for top for me. She's Honey from Ouran, Medusa from Soul Eater, Uraraka from My Hero Academia, The Truth in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I love Lucy Christian so much, and I, like, I aspire to be even a fraction of good as at voice acting as her.
Yeah, I think that she's amazing. I think that my favorite voice actor, if I had to think on it, is the voice actor for Inuyasha, because Inuyasha had, like, a strong place in my heart. But as strong a place as he has in my heart, I don't remember the voice actor's name.
It's all good.
But yeah, you did your hot fudge. I think you still have ice cream, you scream.
Yeah, I had one and we kind of already touched on it.
Okay.
When Hinata goes up to Usui at the waterfall, and he's like, if I were a girl, I'd fall head over heels for you. And, like, Yukimura just goes completely pale and is like, no, you don't want to be saying that. You don't know who you're messing with. You'll get ravaged, he said. He's obviously still struggling with that. I don't want to say low-key, because it's, like, full-on, like, sexual harassment from Usui. So he's still grappling with that.
Yeah.
It just makes me sad. I want good things for Yukimura, and may I just hint and say that they are coming, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes. It will happen, you guys.
Justice for Yukimura will happen, but we'll give no more clues than that. Oh, that's it for me.
Okay, getting into 23, guys. Software summary. So, Erika, who is one of Mizaki's coworkers, goes against company policy by accidentally agreeing to date a customer if they win a dessert eating contest. She pulls Misaki into her debacle, and Misaki, being Misaki, decides to disguise herself to enter the eating contest to help Erika, but is beaten by Hinata, who wants a photo with Misaki and himself as a prize. He did this without knowing that Misaki is the Misaki of Maid Latte. So Misaki is still feeling weird, I guess, about being a maid and being secretive about it. So she decides to deceive Hinata by going with him as a customer and then leaving and disguising herself while he's there, although this doesn't pan out. Our favorite lurker, Uzui, learns from Hinata that his love for Misaki stems from her helping him get over his parents' deaths. And they also have a really nice conversation about Hinata's part-time job working at a gas station as well. Because Misaki doesn't want to lie to Hinata, she does end up telling him that she works at Maid Latte. And Uzui dresses up as a butler in solidarity, but at the end of the episode, he warns Hinata away from Misaki. So that is our summary. As for themes, I have 3. How many themes do you have?
I have one theme with a question mark at the end.
Okay. Maybe I don't even have 3. I probably really have 2. So 1 is enforce company policy.
Okay.
And then honesty is the best policy.
Of course, yes.
Yes. What's your theme?
I put a childhood friend will always have a piece of your heart.
True.
She can't lie to him, stuff like that.
And I'll admit this, guys. I actually fell for Hinata during this episode. Not fell in love with him.
Really?
I understood the ship.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so team Uzui. Like,
it was just because Okay, so I think him talking about Misaki's impact on his life and then hearing about his circumstances and who he was today, I just thought, this is really nice. I mean, in the beginning when we met him, I kind of thought he was trash because I was just like, okay, food eating, like personality, great. What makes him like different? But hearing more about his backstory and just seeing how he is with Misaki and how they are in his memories and how supportive his family is, I thought that he has a more healthy approach in talking to Misaki about his feelings for her than I feel that Uzui does. Like, if you compare the beginning, because technically we're getting this at the very end of this anime, but still, if you compare Hinata's aspirations to Uzui's aspirations at the start, Hinata comes off looking like a more stand-up love interest, in a way.
I can see where you're coming from. I do think he can express how he feels in a more healthy way than Usui, for sure.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it like that. And I definitely gained more sympathy for him, hearing his backstory and what all he's been through.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't get on board.
It's not bad. Like, I mean, I'm not saying, like, I mean, obviously I liked her with Usui as well. I'm just saying, like, you know, I thought that I was going to completely throw this out and be like, man, screw this ship. This doesn't mean anything. And then I was just like, oh, I'm a little touched. I have a little feelings towards this. Okay. Now, the previous episode, I didn't see that shit at all. I was just like, he is being so weird. Like, why is he like, oh, we're in the storeroom as a man, woman? Like,
yeah, that,
gross.
Yeah, that, like, I didn't even want to give that the attention of writing it down in I Scream, You Scream because it was just so stupid.
It was so dumb. So, like, at that episode, I was just like, man, I don't believe in this. And then I saw his backstory and I was just like, oh, okay. A little soft. Maybe I got a little soft, y'all. But anyway, going into Floats Your Boat, I thought it was very nice to see Misaki enjoying Uzui's cooking.
Yeah.
Like, with the sweets. I thought that was nice.
Honestly, the fact that there was a sweets eating contest, like, get me in on that. I love sweets. I have an insane sweet tooth. That's why we're Shoujo Sundae. Like, I love...
For real.
I'm not gonna get on a whole rant, but I told myself I wouldn't buy another tub of cookie dough for quick late night cookies, and who bought another tub of cookie dough for late night cookies? It was me. It was me.
And it tastes good, too. That's why.
Nothing like fresh out of the oven and you underbake it for 1 minute so they're real soft and gooey. Guys... I love sweets.
And the chocolate separates, like, yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna get hungry like those boys in the last episode.
Yeah, get a hold of ourselves.
We're cool. But yeah, I like that she enjoyed his cooking. Also thought that Misaki was a great co-worker in supporting Erika.
Yeah.
Because, let me tell you, I would have redirected that shit towards Satsuki so fast. Like, sounds like a personal problem that has nothing to do with me. Like, dang, that sucks. You should tell our boss.
Yes.
Because Satsuki is just like, and I guess, is this even in my, yeah, this was in my banana split. But Satsuki is such a nice manager that she would have found a way to help Erika get out of that situation. Misaki didn't even have to enter the contest. She could have just told Satsuki, and then Satsuki would have gone up to the customer and just said, it's against company policy, and then that's it.
That's also in my banana split. That's the only banana split I have, actually. I know we're still in Floats Your Boat, but while we're on this, I might as well.
Yeah.
Misaki offered to enter a dessert eating contest so Erika doesn't have to go on a date. Like, that sentence alone is just, first off, ridiculous because anime hijinks.
Yeah.
But also so incredibly nice of her. Like, she absolutely didn't have to go that far. That's a huge thing. But, like, also, as awkward as it is, if Erika really didn't want to go, she could have just communicated that to the guy.
Yeah.
Like, I know that sucks and it's not an easy thing to do, but it's truly the best way and easiest way to solve the problem. Or, like you said, have Satsuki be like, this is against our policy, so sorry you can't have the date, kind of thing. And either way, just some kind of communication would have been a much smoother way. But then there'd be no episode. I'm such a buzzkill. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Because I was like thinking the exact same thing, you know. Because I was just like, why would you need to enter this content? Like, why? I didn't understand it. And then I also just thought of this. So remember when Maid Latte got broken into by those two freaks that like wanted to practice BDSM?
Yes.
So during that that episode, you know, Satsuki gave everyone like a box that had mace and other stuff that they could use when they're like going home. And Erika didn't even stay with Misaki. So Erika and then I forget the other maid's name. Subaru, yeah. So Erika and Subaru both had to leave. And so they left a minor in that situation.
Yeah.
And then she was able to save herself, but still. So I just kind of feel like as good as it is to see how nice Misaki is, I just wondered like, where's the return? Because like, why would you enter this contest? And it's like, this girl didn't even stay like an extra hour or two so you could close up the shop. But that's me. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, I just thought about it while we were talking.
Sorry, we just like dipped into Banana Split back up into Floats Your Boat.
Yes, going back, guys. Sorry, listeners.
I will say, a lot of my Floats Your Boat are just like really quick sentences that don't really have a lot of elaborating.
Yeah. So I guess 2 minor things and then I'll ask you. So one thing I liked that, you know, Misaki's character has progressed until for her to accept physical like touch from Usui. I thought that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
So after she ate all of those desserts and everything, then she was lying on the bench because she ate a ton of desserts and she doesn't feel good. And so Usui came and then she eventually just laid her head on his lap. She did cover her face, but still. So for her to be comfortable enough to do that and not just force herself to sit up the whole time, I thought that was good progress.
Yeah, I really liked to see that. It was nice to see them get physically closer. And he definitely like kisses her on the head through the jacket. And she's like, what was that? And he's like, oh, it was nothing. You're imagining it. That was really cute.
Yeah, I thought that was really sweet. And then the last one that I have is the flashbacks. So seeing baby Misaki was really cute. And I also thought like before Hinata was kind of annoying, but that was just like, oh, look at him being like so chubby and cute and like her feeding him. And maybe that was the next episode, but still like seeing like the flashback, I thought that was nice. And I also loved how like the animators broke the wall. I wouldn't say broke the fourth wall, but Uzui was able to like look at the space bubble to watch the memories that he was talking about. And so I thought that that was like really cute. And in that flashback, I know that we kind of dogged on Hinata's like weird ass country accent, but his grandpa's accent almost killed me. Like
it was very comedic.
Like it does not make sense. Like it doesn't even match his frame, but it was so funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the last of my Floats Your Boat. What is your Floats Your Boat?
One of the desserts in the thing, or one of the prizes from the dessert eating contest was homemade made cookies. And I thought that was such a cute little like pun slash dessert slash adorable thing. I thought that was great. I watched the episode twice just so that I could absorb as much as I could. And just both times I'm like, this is amazing. I would buy those.
Yeah. And then I also just like that they had like a family day. I thought that was so cute.
Yeah. Another great theme day from Satsuki. Family day was adorable. Just getting to see, you know, a different kind of clientele. It's not just full of like thirsty boys slash men. Just a cute little day. It looked like it was a lot of moms and daughters. It was really, really sweet.
Yeah, I really like that.
There was another flashback that was really funny when little Misaki is like, Yo-kun, you said you wouldn't eat more candy today. And he's eating the chocolate bar straight up. And he's like, I'm not eating candy. She's like, yes, you are. Stop lying. He's like, I'm not lying. And he was like really like straight-faced about it, saying he wasn't lying. That was really, really funny.
Yes. And then he brought up that little thing of bread too. I was just like, okay, glutton. Like, so not only you lied about candy, now you bring out something else. Like,
so good. So good. Also, when they were having that conversation at the table, and you could see Usui was feeling insecure. He was kind of like sinking back, and he did not like that they were having a conversation that he couldn't interject himself in. Mm-hmm. The way he was so suave with like the accidental, quote unquote, accidental footsies under the table, hitting Misaki's foot with his foot. Yeah. So that she would kind of turn and pay attention to him. Like, I know that like maybe that's a little petty, but for me, I loved it. I thought that was real great.
Yes. And I also liked how he just affirmed himself, because she was all paying attention, being attentive to Hinata, and then he kicks her, and like she like turns and looks at him, and she's blushing, and I'm just like, yeah, see, because they can have all of these like memories, but at the end of the day, Uzui's got her.
Exactly. Also, Usui openly admits his feelings out loud for Misaki for the first time to Hinata in this episode by asking, is that your declaration of war? And I can't remember exactly what Hinata had said that prompted Usui to ask this. But Hinata was like, if you feel the same way as me, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it was clear that they had come to that understanding. So that was really the first time Usui openly admitted his feelings for Misaki aloud.
I think because they have a bond that he can't really insert himself into, like, he had to affirm his feelings and take it seriously versus, like, when Kano asked, Kano was asking just to be nosy, but also to ask, like, why aren't y'all together and stuff.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to be open to that. But to a rival, it's like, oh yeah, like I'm throwing down. I don't want you to not take me seriously. So I like that too.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much it for me. I think the other stuff I had isn't worth mentioning.
Yeah, let me see. Banana split. Did I have anything? This is like a weak banana split though. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say I had hot fudge that I put under the last episode that could work for this episode just because we talked about stuff a couple times. But if you have a banana split you want to talk about first, please go ahead.
Yeah, my banana split was the fact that Uzui was like cooking these sweets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one thing if he is like helping and like the cook wasn't able to come, but Uzui outright being the cook, I didn't think that that was right from a business standpoint because somebody certified should be doing it, not a high school kid.
Oh, that's true. It's funny. I didn't even think that deep into it, but you're totally right.
You know, I try to get deep, y'all. If I can't give you some symbolism, I'll get deep about something random.
Yeah,
But yeah, I was just kind of like, let's think about logistics that nobody thinks about in this anime. Like, everyone could get sick, and then what, Satsuki? So,
right. Does he have a serve safe certification? Like,
right. Can he work at a Michelin restaurant? Like, he doesn't have to, but like, come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my only banana split I hadn't talked about. So, hot fudge.
So, I'm so sorry, but I don't think there's a contest between Hinata and Usui. Like, I feel like there's nothing to choose between. I just feel like I would take Usui any day over him, but that's just me.
I think especially if we think about, like, you know what, let me save it for, like, the last episode, because we're gonna, like, do that quick. So, but I see what you're saying, but I'll explain more, like, why I even, like, consider the ship more in the next episode.
Okay.
Do you have another one?
I was sort of feeling like these few episodes that we watched today kind of felt like a buffer as to just not conclude Misaki's and Usui's storyline yet.
Yeah.
And I just am really hoping that the last two episodes are no nonsense, all about Misaki and Usui and getting them to finally be together. And I'm just thinking, I wrote, maybe I just felt a little detached because I switched over to the dub after being so used to the sub. Maybe that's why I felt detached from these episodes, and that could very well be it.
Yeah. You know, the way that it's set up, the anime doesn't end with the manga series. So I don't really know, like, I haven't watched the final episode to know, like, how they're potentially ending this. And there isn't a second season, guys, but that is the crux of all shoujo anime sometimes. But I see what you're saying, like, in feeling detached and feeling like there's, like, this buffer and stuff. And the critique I can say, like, now, even with us not getting to the final episode, is that I don't like how it was so focused on Misaki. I think that, and I mean, I love Misaki, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it should have been more of a two-way street in learning about Misaki, but then also learning about Uzui. Mm-hmm. And the way that they have these episodes, they're doing like the first arc, I think, within the manga series where it is focused on Misaki. But then the next arc is focused on Uzui, and I don't think we're getting that arc. And so instead, all we really get within the anime is like watching the end song for people to even see in anime form how Uzui grew up. And I don't think that that's particularly like fair. And I feel that with all of these buffer episodes, like, yes, there are certain points that needed to be created that made sense, but I feel that if they knew they weren't going to be making another season, and there was a time like within like the anime industry where people would make anime like one season of it and then just be like, well, go read the manga so that the author could get money and stuff from it, and they would want to know like how it ended. And so I feel like Maid Sama is part of that time frame, and you'll see this, and a good example of this is actually Fruits Basket.
I was just gonna say Fruits Basket.
Yeah, so the first iteration of it, not the second one that came out. The second one has like the whole series. The first iteration of it was part of that time frame of, we're telling you the story and then one season, now go read the manga.
Yeah, and that first series of Fruits Basket really left you off at a point where you wanted to know what happened next.
Right. Yeah, it did. And so I just feel like the same thing's going to happen with Maid Sama. But I think when it comes to making this anime, if they knew that this was going to be the outcome, right? That they were going to tell people, okay, go read the manga series to see how everything like happens next. I think that they could have cut some of the filler episodes that we got and instead just tried to fit 2 arcs within it. So you do get, okay, Misaki growing into her character and getting more used to men, but then you also get Usui and you're learning his story. And I feel like it would be more fulfilling of a romance anime if they did it that way, because then, you know, if they did it that way, we wouldn't have been complaining that, you know, it's been like 22 episodes, 23 episodes, and Misaki is still like sort of denying her feelings to herself and people around her. Rather, it would be like, okay, we're getting to that point of, okay, Misaki might deny her feelings, but we get to the middle and she does like him. Then we're learning more about Usui and they're grappling with like what we learn about Usui and what their relationship is like within that arc. I didn't mean to go on a tangent, guys. It just happened.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was literally thinking, I think during episode 24, Usui is still so much of a mystery and there's 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice when a guy starts off and, like, he was so mysterious at the beginning, but, like, he's still so mysterious. I feel like we should know a little bit more about him.
Right. Like, we should know, like, okay, why during this terrible butler competition, why did you know exactly where to put the scones?
Yep.
What jam, all of that type of stuff. Why do you know that information? Why can you suddenly play the violin? Why do you live by yourself? Where are your family? There are so many unanswered questions about him that I feel that it's a little unfair the way that it's going to end off, because I feel we should get both sides of like, yes, we love Misaki and this is why we love Misaki, but we also love Usui, and we should know outside of like his quirks and Misaki's POV, like why we should love this character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was Hot Fudge, right?
Yeah.
I only have one Ice Cream You Scream. I don't know if you have any Hot Fudge left or more Ice Cream You Screams.
I don't have any Hot Fudge. I think, oh yeah, Ice Cream You Scream. So this is in relation to Misaki's character, which I mean, she does amend and tell Hinata like that she works at Maid Latte. But I said that the way that Hinata easily is able to talk about his part-time job shows how weird Misaki is for being secretive about hers.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. I had this written somewhere and I can't remember where I put it. I think I might have put it at the end of my Floats Your Boat, but I probably should have also put it where you did, because I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, I feel like especially at this point, and then like you see the links that Satsuki is going through. Well, she doesn't go through like links, but she came up with a mask.
Yeah.
And they had a plan for like how Misaki like wanted to handle it. And I wondered from Satsuki's like standpoint, how does that feel to have like an employee that sort of seems ashamed of the work that they're doing?
Right. Yeah. I can imagine that hurts a little because she puts so much into it.
Yeah, like I'm sure it has to hurt her feelings in a way, you know? And like, yes, Misaki does good work, but I feel her being secretive about it at this point is dumb.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm glad that she does end up telling him that she works at Maid Latte, but I fully don't understand it. I feel like we've had other like examples of people having part-time work and not being ashamed of it, and her being weird. Like the three idiots, they were the waiters at that other shop during that music episode with Sakura and that band guy, and they just did it, you know?
So it kind of surprises me that, like, she hasn't seen Hinata in how many years? Like, at least 5 or so?
Yeah.
Probably more than that, like 10? And she'll let him see her as a maid before Sakura and Shizuku, who have been around her
Ooh.
for years at this point, and they're her closest friends. Like,
yeah.
why can't they know? I feel like if anything, like, Sakura would be like, look how cute you look. Oh my gosh, maybe I could work here. You know, something like that. Like, I don't understand why. Like, the stakes of the entire show feel unbelievable.
You're right. It does feel weird. Like, I mean, yes, he was your childhood friend, and so now that he's back in your life, he's technically known you or known of you the longest. But if you can easily tell him, then you should be able to tell your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Why keep that a secret from them? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to fathom, like, if I had a secret thing, like if I was secretly a VTuber or something, like what if I had one of my, not that that's something to be embarrassed about, but that's something, like, you keep your identity secret.
Yeah.
Like, if I had, like, if one of my childhood best friends just came out of nowhere, and, like, I'm thinking, like, telling her versus my best friend since 2016, since for 6 years, like, obviously he would know first.
Yeah. I think it's just the way that Hinata's, like, set up. The way he is as a character, about how honest he is and stand-up he is, and also we got to see his backstory, that I feel she felt compelled because she had such a big impact on his life.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
she felt safe to tell him. I just think she should feel safe to tell her other friends too.
No, I fully agree.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's it for me for Ice Cream You Scream for that. Do you have another one?
I just have one. I have only one.
Okay.
So, back behind Maid Latte, when Hinata comes over and he's like, Misaki, you're Misa-chan, and Usui's there, and they're, like, kind of going at it. Yeah, there's this whole animation with, like, the dogs, and they're just, like, growling at each other. Misaki really goes, what's with them? Are you kidding me?
I thought that was dumb.
Are you absolutely, like, are you fucking kidding me, Misaki? Obviously, they're fighting over you. Like, there's no question to it. There's no way a girl that smart could be that dumb.
I mean, the dogs literally came out to breed her. Like,
Oh, no.
that's what I wrote in my notes. I wasn't going to say it, but it came out. Like, maybe we should cut it.
No, it's okay. I think it's hilarious.
They were like, oh, wait, no, I like her. No, I like her. And was ready to just, like, piss on the territory. And she's just like, why are they doing this? Girl.
Oh, Lord.
Please, that's one thing. We'll see if this happens, but I'm banking that it's not going to happen. But something that does happen in the manga is that her dad comes back.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So her dad comes back. I mean, they only have 2 episodes left. I know they introduced Hinata, like, late as hell, but, like,
Interesting.
I feel like post that happening, like, she starts to get more of a grip about the men around her.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I feel like her not knowing, and it's like, Uzui just deadass asked you what your feelings were about this guy. And, like, this guy has already proclaimed his love about you. Like, come on.
Man, now that you mention something so huge happening in the manga, I'm wondering, and I'm going to hold off my opinion after I see the last 2 episodes, but I really do wonder if I would enjoy this story more through the lens of the manga and not the anime adaptation.
You would.
Yeah.
I feel like all of my nostalgia, because I never saw the anime, I don't believe, of Maid Sama, so this is like my first time watching it.
Oh, okay.
But all of my nostalgia came from the manga, and it was really good. And I did purchase it from Right Stuff, so when they eventually send it to me, I don't mind shipping it over to you so you can check it out.
Awesome. Thank you.
No, I feel like you would like it so much more. We could even have, like, a Giana retrospective blog.
Oh, that would be so fun. I would love that.
Yeah, of like, oh yeah, I read it and this is what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because I still have all my notes from, you know, us recording these, so I could compare versus the manga kind of thing. That would be really fun.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any Ice Cream You Scream?
Nope. Yeah, that's all it for me for episode 23.
Okay, so 24, soft serve summary. Misaki is sick of Hinata and Uzui's shit, and she kicks them out of the student council room.
Amazing.
Meanwhile...
What a good way to word it.
Meanwhile, Meanwhile, Maid Latte plans on hosting a magical maids day where all the maids dress up like witches from an anime series. During this time, Hinata is still trying to talk to Misaki about his feelings and reminiscing on old times. And so at one point he asked her about the cherry tree that they went to when they were younger, which FYI, they went to this cherry tree and Hinata climbed the tree and then he broke the tree branch and fell like sort of on his upper back and head and had to go to the hospital for it. Anyway, so he asked Misaki about the tree and she doesn't know where it is. And suddenly it's Magical Maids Day and Usui and Hinata are kind of ruining the experience with their rivalry with one another. And eventually Usui leaves, which kind of gives Misaki feelings. And Hinata asked Misaki to cast a spell on him, a seeking spell, so he can find the tree that's part of their memories. Once her shift is over, she has to once again reassure Usui about how she has no feelings like that for Hinata. And she also almost punches him out of embarrassment because he decides to ask her how she feels about him. Same as how the rest of her coworkers asked her a couple minutes prior. But anyway, she almost punches Usui, and then Usui stops the punch, and they later hug each other, and we get another example of Misaki being okay with physical touch with Usui. And the episode ends with Hinata finding the cherry tree on his own, and he sees it as fate that him and Misaki should be together. So for theme, I didn't write a theme. Do you have a theme?
No, I couldn't glean anything from it.
Same. I do have sprinkle on top, y'all, after how many episodes?
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
So I don't even know if this is like more of a sprinkle on top or just more of like an aside. But anyway, Hinata is a foil for Usui. And the reason why I say that is because I think I already touched on this in this episode of Shoujo Sundae. The way that Hinata approached Misaki, he was entirely honest about his like feelings with her, talking about like his memories with her. Within this episode, you also see him interacting with her family and they remember him fondly. And so, in contrast, you're able to see, like, okay, this is how Usui is, this is how Hinata is. And I feel like this episode gives them a little bit more of an even playing field on why people could possibly ship Misaki with Hinata. So I thought, okay, sprinkle on top, he's a foil in a way.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that take.
The other sprinkle on top that I had was about drinking tea. And now it's part of the lingo. People drink tea because they know the gossip, they know what's going on. And Suzuna was fully doing that because Suzuna has only interacted with Hinata once and she already called him out for saying that, oh, he likes Misaki. And she did it in front of her mom too. She was sipping tea because she knew the tea. So that's sprinkle on top.
That was amazing. I love that so much.
For Floats Your Boat, guys. So one, I liked Hinata keeping Misaki's secret for her at the start of the episode.
Yeah.
When they were amongst their classmates. Because he's such a trustworthy, like, person. Like, even if she doesn't get with him, I think he could be a really good friend.
Yeah, I think that they have a lot of good friendship chemistry for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily romantic, but I do think that they go together very well.
Yeah.
Socially.
I also thought that it was very sweet to see Hinata's family fully supporting him.
Yeah.
And moving back to the city he moved away from. And I think even just aside from his family, also his coworkers, like you can just tell how good of a person Hinata is because everyone's encouraging him. They're like, do you need help tutoring? Because you helped give me like a massage the one time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a ride home? His grandparents, they knew that finding Misaki was like his goal, so they were asking him about it. And I just thought like he's an all around just really healthy character, which just touches again on the sprinkle on top of him being a foil, because you remember maybe last Shoujo Sundae episode I said that Usui is emotionally unavailable at times because Misaki is emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
So to see Hinata be so available was really refreshing.
Yeah, and that for some reason, just like you talking about emotional availability, made me think of that shot of her when he's so shocked to see her in the maid outfit, how she just gives him such a warm smile and just kind of playfully shows shushes him. That kind of playfulness isn't something we get to see her have with Usui, and I hope we do get to see that if they do get together in the next 2 episodes.
Yeah, I hope we do get to see that. I feel like her playfulness with him is really sweet. It's sweet in the manga anyway. It would be nice to see it in the remaining episodes, and I think her being that way with Hinata is nice. And then also he is like fully complimenting her, so I feel that she's just being weird and secretive about her job because that's just what she feels like doing. But if it was like she felt awkward in her outfit, he already has like something to say, like, oh, you look amazing in this. I know in the last episode she was talking about how everyone thought she was overbearing, and he like was full of compliments, like, no, like people were just embarrassed that they didn't think of what you were thinking of. Like, he's so supportive and like just great friend energy.
Yeah, I really appreciated Aoi's disapproving look when Misaki called Usui a perverted alien to the maid staff in the back. Like, the way Aoi was just like, are you kidding me? You're still going on with this? Like, as a viewer, it kind of felt like when Kano was bugging them about their feelings, just kind of playing our role, essentially.
Yeah, I just love that now the supporting characters are fully breaking the fourth wall and just saying all the shit that we're saying.
Yeah, very much appreciated.
The way that Aoi shifted the conversation, it was just great. They decided, all right, well, since you're going to answer like this, let's just be direct. And I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah, I just really like Aoi as a character as a whole. Just one of my favorite characters in the whole show.
Yeah. Aoi there are some times where I'm just kind of like, I don't like this about you.
Well, yeah.
But for the most part, I feel like I like Aoi as well. Last Floats Your Boat that I had kind of deals with the end of the episode, I believe. Do you have other Floats Your Boat?
Yeah, I have 3. 2 of them are basically just statements. So, Usui comes to Maid Latte on Magical Maid's Day, which, side note, amazing. I loved every second of that theme day so much.
Yes. I love the lore. I love that they gave her all of the anime, and like, I loved it. I was just like, oh my gosh, the otaku heart in me. Somebody sharing their passion for like a particular show or like a series. I love that because it's like, oh, we're bonding. We're seeing eye to eye.
Yeah. Well, Usui goes to Maid Latte on Magical Maid's Day as a customer, and Misaki has to greet him at the door, dressed as a magical maid, and kind of like do the routine. And you can tell she's like embarrassed. She's blushing, and she's kind of hard for her to look at him. And I just thought that was really cute, just like the awkwardness there. And just the fact that he doesn't tease her or say anything smug about it. I thought that was good progress.
Yeah. And you know what? Particularly in that scene, because Uzui was so sick of this Hinata stuff that he stopped coming around. He used to always be on Misaki's ass. And then he was so sick of this Hinata stuff, he stopped coming around, and she noticed it. So when he came into the shop, I think she also blushed at that point. And it wasn't just because of what she was saying. I think it was just because, like, this is the first time I'm seeing him. And people also asked about him as well. And they also mentioned that he must be tired of Hinata and all of that. So it was nice to see that. And then it was also nice when he was fed up again and he decided to leave. You could tell that Misaki looked a little disappointed.
Yeah. The other small floats your boat I have was the Russian roulette juice.
Yes.
With the 3 idiots. So Misaki does this thing with the 3 idiots. One of the juices that she puts on the table is going to taste bad, and she said she'll have to guess. One of them will have to keep a straight face, and she'll have to guess who drank the bad one. But Kurotatsu drinks the juice that is quote-unquote enchanted or has a spell on it, and he's just instantly incapacitated because it tastes so bad.
Yes.
I thought that whole bit was amazing comic relief. Just the 3 idiots coming through again.
Yeah, I loved it. They're just little angels at this point.
Well, they are literally cherubs in the transition cards now.
Like him, like, dying, I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh, man down, we have to regroup.
Right. They had to, like, full on leave the cafe.
Yeah.
My last floats your boat is also towards the end of the episode, and I wonder if we'll be going off of similar things. It's good to see Misaki finally looking inward and analyzing and facing her feelings in relationship with Usui. Just actively thinking, well, what is he to me now? You know, prompted by Aoi.
Yeah.
And she's trying to push him away when he confronts her, but he at least tries to make a point by embracing her to show how he feels. I kind of like got chills when he used the truth-telling spell on her and she actually clung back to him. I thought that was such a nice moment.
I started laughing.
Well, yeah, it was silly. Like, I don't think it was meant to be, like, full-on serious, but it was, like, a silly thing. I thought it was almost like an inside joke.
Seeing Misaki being open to physical, like not just immediately shoving him away, like allowing that hug to progress and then listening to Usui. I was happy about that. I was happy to see that progress in her. The spell made me laugh though. That shit would have taken me out. I'm just saying, if that happened in real life, I'll just be like, are you serious? But regardless, I thought it was really good to like see them be that way. But yeah, so I think that was my final point too. So
cool. And I don't have any banana split.
I don't have banana split that I feel is like important enough to say. Hot fudge.
The hot fudge I have is not important, but I think it's funny. So I think that Suzuna and Hinata's relationship, just like their friendship, is so cute. And I'm like, they're only a few years apart, right? Maybe when they're older, they can get together so he stops bothering Misaki.
Right?
I don't like fully mean it, but I mean, I would not hate it if that happened. Like after she's in high school or something.
Yeah. Like, once I get that manga, I'm go back. I wonder if they got together. I can't remember if they did.
I want to read it now.
It's really good. I mean, it's so much better, y'all. I'm just saying that in general, listeners, the manga is where it's at. Now, sometimes there are like anime where it's like, okay, this is better than the source material, but not in this regard. As cute as Maid Sama is and iconic in what it did for romance anime and stuff, I think the manga is better. But that's hot fudge.
I don't know. I thought that was kind of a hot take, saying that Suzuna and Hinata should be together.
Because I feel like I agree with it, but like, okay.
Maybe it's not a hot take. I'm too soft for hot takes, okay?
No, it's okay. It's okay. The hot take that I had that's not really a hot take, I guess this is, no, I'll keep that to ice cream, you scream. So the two hot fudge things that I had was about Satsuki.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so one, seeing Satsuki refer to Aoi as a boy pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because I thought she accepted Aoi for who they were, and so it just felt like an unnecessary regression.
Mm-hmm.
And then in line with that, my second hot fudge thing was that I think Satsuki should have let Aoi go out for Magical Maids Day.
Yep.
Maybe as like a greeter.
That's actually in my I Scream, You Scream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. Fully 100%. Like, don't put them to work if they don't want to work, but they were perfect for the cosplay and they were so excited about it and they were there. It's like they had the spare time. Like, let them participate.
They don't have to sell anybody anything, but they could just be like a greeter, you know?
Exactly.
And I think what made it hot fudge and not ice cream, you scream for me was the fact that Satsuki used Aoi's talent to create those costumes.
Yeah, it's like, so they're good enough to do that, but not be part of it. That's so frustrating.
Right. That really pissed me off because it's just like, you wouldn't even have those costumes without Aoi. So the least you could do was just let Aoi go and be a greeter or find something for them to do that's not entirely like work where they can still be seen.
Yeah.
Because they were so excited about it. And so that was just really mean to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I was frustrated by that for them.
So that was my hot fudge. So what do you have for our ice cream, you scream?
Okay, so Misaki's mom.
Yeah.
She meets Hinata by dropping food outside that rolls away, like, again, just like she met Uzui. It just feels lazy. Like, they tried to make it sound within Hinata's character with her saying later, oh, you still have that habit of eating persimmons you pick up. Like, that's a regular thing a person does. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that meeting. It could have been done so many different ways.
What I didn't like about it was that, one, I don't even know why she would chide him specifically on persimmons?
Persimmons, I think.
I don't know why she would chide him about that because Hinata would just eat anything.
Yeah.
To make it so specific, like, Hinata would just eat anything because Hinata likes to eat. But what I didn't like is that she brought him home. Now, I think because they know Hinata, maybe that's why it makes, like, the Uzu one, like, worse. They know Hinata, so it's like makes sense for him to go visit. I just didn't think like, you know, the time of day, like I didn't know how to feel about it. But, I mean, they've known him for a long time, so...
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was just because she recognized him.
Yeah.
As a family friend.
Yeah, but I also just thought, like, you know, you could tell your kids first or plan it out. But, I mean, she did need the help, so I guess... And they wrote it that way, so it's, like, exactly the same, where they're literally trying... The writers are just like, he's a foil for Usui.
Yeah.
We're going to create the same situation.
Yeah.
Except in this time, like, they actually gave him a meal, so I did like that because now that Hinata lives on his own, who knows if he's able to properly cook for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice seeing him have a meal. But I just thought it was weird, just the specific fact, if you take out their roles and stuff, Misaki's mom dropping food and bringing people home is very weird.
Yeah, it's weird and it's dangerous.
Yeah. But that was the only one I had, actually.
Oh, I just had one more.
Okay.
So I'm just confused as to why Hinata is surprised that Misaki remembers that he fell from the cherry tree when it was a huge part of his introduction in the show. And she overhears him talking about it. And then he like low-key recreates it the first episode he's introduced. But he's like, you remember? Of course she does. Like, you just talked about it a lot, actually.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like because you know he's not that smart either.
That's true. He's not super bright.
So I feel like it's a character thing. It's a character flaw. Like, do you remember? It's like you were just talking about it.
He's like, yeah, remember when you recreated it and then openly confessed your love in front of everybody? Like, yeah, that happened, Hinata.
Right. And then Uzui calling him stupid in 2 different ways. And it was just like,
Yeah.
The other one wasn't even that eloquent, but okay. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But something that I'll say, and as endearing as his backstory and stuff is, him at the end of the episode saying like, it's fate that he found her. I think he's still caught up in his feelings so much that he's not realistically taking note of how Misaki's been feeling.
Yeah.
Because she's rejected him this entire time. Not as a friend, but in that romantic sense. And he's trying to ignore it and say that it's fate. And it's like, that's not fate. And I do feel bad for Misaki in that regard because while it is nice to see Hinata being able to like grow up and to have a goal, I feel like it must be burdensome to have a childhood friend make you their life goal. And it's like, y'all didn't even keep up with each other.
Yeah. Not even pen pals.
Didn't send letters. Yeah. And then all of a sudden now it's like you want to like be with her. You move to a different city than your like family. You're living on your own. You have to cook for yourself. You have to have this job. And while he's like a really like endearing person and he has these friendships and everything, I feel like that would be such a heavy burden on Misaki to just think this person changed their life just to be around me and I don't like them like that.
Right. Like he could have arrived after her and Usui got together. And then what was he supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like he just had this expectation that she would be available to him.
Yeah. And I don't like that.
No.
But yeah, guys, that's Ice Cream, You Scream, and I guess that's this episode of Shoujo Sundae.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to our, I guess this is our penultimate recap before our final recap, right?
Oh my gosh, yes it is. Yes it is.
Our penultimate recap before our final recap of Maid Sama. We appreciate you so much for sticking through it with us and listening to us turn from baby podcasters into, you know, a bit more regular.
Toddler podcasters.
You know, like we're still getting our bearings. We're still learning how to walk. It's not concrete yet. We're not like fully autonomous, but we're working shit out.
We're teething.
Yeah, we're teething. We're working stuff out.
Yeah.
Please go and rate us 5 stars wherever you are listening on to this podcast. We need so many more people to be able to listen in and everything. And if you have critiques, we don't mind it. You can leave them as long as you leave 5 stars and, you know, we will work on them. We also would want you to follow the podcast. We are across every social media platform. You can email us, shoujosundaepodcast@gmail.com.
Send us Yukimura fan art, please.
Yes, send us Yukimura fan art. Also, for this episode, if you could comment on our post on our website or just comment on social media, do you ship Hinata with Misaki? Like, do y'all have little feelings like me? Or y'all are just like Team Usui like Giana? Like, absolute.
Yeah. Are you like hard stop like me? Usui Misaki only.
Only. Like, you don't see it at all. Also, another thing that we want to know, we might make this a poll when we drop this episode. Did you watch Maid Sama with sub or with dub?
Yes, I want to know.
Yeah, we want to know because I feel like that might impact the nostalgia because, like, I'm getting this new. I read the manga. I'm getting this new. So I was trying to see y'all's nostalgia, and y'all could tell by our past couple of episodes, when it's ice cream, you cream, or hot fudged, suddenly it's my time.
Bringing the heat.
Bringing the heat. But I want to know, like, how did y'all watch it? Yeah, but I am Chika Supreme. You can follow me across all social media platforms at Chika Supreme. That's Chika with a K, not two C's. Giana?
I am Giana Luna. You can follow me all across socials at Giana_Luna_. And that's Giana with one N.
And thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week for Shoujo Sundae episode 9, and we'll be going over the final episodes of Maid Sama.
Yes, we will see you then.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.